And another rally promoting human rights in China took place in the German city of Nuremberg. The city is known as the hub of human rights because that's where the famous Nuremberg trials were held. Here's the story.
Past and present converged in the heart of Nuremberg. Here, human rights defenders raised their voices against the decades-long persecution of Falun Gong. The meditation practice, also known as Falun Dafa, has been brutally suppressed by the Chinese Communist regime. Countless people have been beaten, imprisoned, and even tortured to death only for their belief.
We have
the freedom of faith, which is for all people. China has also signed the Charter of Human Rights. Faith offers us so much satisfaction and happiness. I think it's very important for people to be able to exercise these rights freely, especially in China.
Dressed in blue uniforms, Falun Gong practitioners formed a marching band. Their music conveyed holiday wishes and the principles they hold fast to: truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. Many of them were direct victims of the CCP's campaign of persecution. One of them recalled how the police forced her to renounce her faith using dehumanizing tactics.
For 13 days, I was forced to remain standing and not allowed to sleep. Because of my resistance, they force-fed me. They inserted a tube into my nose. I didn't cooperate. Then they inserted the tube into my lungs. This caused me to cough and spit up blood for over a month.
Zhao says she has twice sued Jiang Zemin. The former party leader initiated the nationwide persecution of Falun Gong in 1999. He recently died of leukemia and multiple organ failure. Other faith groups in China are under similar pressure. Helga Maul cited an example pointing to the Tibetan flag on her hat.
If you show that, and we show that at our protests and at our vigil, if you show that in Tibet, it's considered a political offense, and you go to work camp or to prison for at least 10 years just for this.
Their stories evoke the history of Nuremberg, once a center for Nazi propaganda. However, between 1945 and 1946, Nazi leaders stood trial for their crimes in the courtroom of Nuremberg's Palace of Justice. The Nuremberg trials established international criminal law, making all people, even heads of state, accountable for crimes against humanity. In the city's Human Rights Street, the UN Declaration of Human Rights is inscribed in dozens of languages.
This is something we as a nation have worked on, and I think maybe this is an example for other countries too, to follow this way. Nobody is sure not to make any mistakes in history, big mistakes even, and I do not hope that something like that will be repeated now in China or in Russia.
And the city's message to those who are still involved in human rights violations.
My appeal to the Chinese Communist Party is to please let Falun Gong practitioners have the peace to uphold their faith. The country will also benefit from this.
If you really are trying to press down minor groups, you should think about your own way of thinking.
I address those who are involved in the persecutions. Whether it's against Falun Gong or the Uyghurs, they should stop doing that because they will be held accountable for their deeds. The rally ended with a peaceful candlelight vigil appealing for justice in the historic city. NTD News, Nuremberg, Germany.